Welcome to Old School Garage. I'm Boris and this is a Mk1 Capri. This episode I'm going to show you the 10 most interesting Ford Capris I find. Here is another Mk1 Capri. This one definitely seen better days. This one looks very yellow. This episode is all about Mk1 Capris, and what you see in here, it's like a Capri heaven. I'm at the Capri Club nearby Evesham and this is a magical place. Let me introduce to you John. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm with John, who's been doing the Capri Club for over 40 years now.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
So John, what we're seeing here, this is
your characteristic two-door coupe. Long bonnet and the D or C-shaped window, characteristic. This is often how you find them. Somebody's taken the wings off, taken the front valance off, realised that, number one, trying to source the wings difficult, and number two, there's a lot behind the wings that they didn't spot first time. So,
because it's quite scary when somebody taking the front wing off and they find all that rust, isn't it?
That's exactly right, yeah. But often they're runners, as this one, the runner. It's even got brakes, even though it's been in storage for years. But it's got the characteristic problem there, and the bit that you always spot straight away, the rear wheel arches.
Yeah. So these are the main problems with these Capris.
Yeah, but repairing, that's not difficult. That's inexpensive, really. The sheet metal's available for that. The sheet metal's available for this and the wing, but of course this is the expensive end.
Right. So that's your starting point.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's see what's the next stage.
Okay, so this, contrary to what I said previous, hasn't got a power bulge bonnet.
Yeah, it's smooth as anything,
That's
isn't
it.
it?
They needed that power bulge bonnet, not for a mechanical reason, but for a sales point of view. So they got away with the early preface cars with the flat bonnet. Of course, it stopped them having to produce two bonnets. A bit later on with the facelift, one bonnet fits all. Okay, now this is a V4. This is a left-hand drive, of course. Quite expensive to import. I was going to say that they're rust-free, but this particular one isn't rust-free. However, you know, they do survive a lot better in warmer climates.
So this is your next stage project?
This is, yes, this is untouched as discovered, yeah.
Did you ever try to start this vehicle?
No, this one, we haven't tried to get this running. The problem with this one is it's as well as surface rust, it's bleached on the inside due to the heat. So virtually anything that's plastic has split.
Yes, but a split plastic is still better than repairing rust.
Well, you've got a sample to give to your coach trim. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, we go to the next car.
Another pre-facelift, flat bonnet, which means it'll have a 4-cylinder engine. In this case, because it's not an export model, we've got your Kent engine, right? A GT model with the GT carburettor. But as you see, quad headlights, not quite correct. These have obviously been added at a later stage. And also I noticed it's got an alternator, which it should have a dynamo. And I noticed one or two other electrical changes. So this car, in fact, has got a later wiring harness. It would look very much like it's out of a laser, which just goes to prove that you can retrofit later parts into early cars. It's all possible because it's the same platform and it's the same sort of mechanics. The front bumpers, for instance, these are pre-facelift bumpers, no indicators, so whoever fitted the quad lights hasn't quite thought it out yet, because you do need indicators somewhere. That's a facelift bonnet. It's a facelift bumper, I mean to say. Did you notice that Freudian slip? And your indicators are hung suspended in there. So perhaps the solution here is to retrofit a facelift bumper so it can have
indicators, because you do need indicators.
But everybody likes quad headlights because they think that is the ultimate Capri. But of course, we'll discuss headlights later on when I can show you the whole range. Right, moving on to the interior then. As I say, it's a pre-facelift. However, that dashboard is out of the much later model. That's out of either a facelift or, as I suspect in this case, actually out of a laser.
So probably the laser was the donor car for
the laser
this
must have,
vehicle.
it looks like this one, there's another one down here. This is definitely later controls, which just, oh, there it is over there, look. Just not quite been fitted. So it just goes to prove that you can fit all the later parts into an early shell. The reason I would assume is because the poor old Mark 1 Capri is now suffering with very brittle switches and wiring connections.
And it's hard to source.
Well, you just simply can't get nice new parts, and second-hand parts, well, they're no better than what you've got. Oh, look, those are that's obviously are going to be fitted to the front. So this is a project that we took in hand, which is half completed, and I think it's up to us to try and sort it all out.
Excellent.
But you'll notice the doors. Oh, I'll give it a bit more of a swing. Fits like a Golf. Yeah, so this is again, it's a pre-facelift, but in this case, it's a 3 litre. So we would have the powerboards bonnet. Good way of checking the condition of these cars, to give the door a good pull up and down and check that the gaps are correct.
So what information give you when you're pulling the door up and down? Why is it so important on the Capris?
If we look at the next car, you'll see that the A-post, right, which holds the door hinges, is the main structure of the vehicle. And if it's corroded up there, then you've got a lot of work. The floor pans in this one and the inner seals are corroded, but as long as the doors fit, it can't be breaking its back. One of the downsides is obviously a lot of extra work because it's got the old microwave oven door in the roof.
Because that was a fashion years ago, isn't it? So everybody putting sunroof in there and they leak like a sieve.
That's it. The only sunroofs in these models are what they call a Goldie sunroof, which was a metal sunroof that you can wind back. In fact, in Top Gear, he drives around with a Goldie sunroof. Very rare, very rare. And you can't get any spares for a Goldie sunroof. So anyway, that's just right-hand drive 3 litre shell that's been fettled up for somebody.
Can we just check the engine, or is the engine out of the car?
No, the engine's out of the car.
So it's just a bare shell we got in here at the moment.
There's not a lot to see really. Somebody's obviously chopped out the radiator to put a bigger radiator in it. And there's quite a lot of corrosion. But the inner wings are solid enough, which is a
yeah, it looks pretty solid. I mean, I've seen you start cleaning up in there on the firewall already.
That's it, yeah.
So,
okay, so we mentioned about the door hinges and the structure. So once you take the wings off, this is what you're presented with. And of course, the wing fits down here, so you don't see any of this corrosion, especially this down here, until you take it apart.
Yeah, because that's pretty bad, isn't it?
That's it. And then when you go inside the car, then you can see it. Right.
So, but I see some part has already been replaced and repaired in here.
No, this has just been bare metalled prior to taking this off and welding it. I'll take you around the other side, and you can see what we've done.
Big bulge on it.
Big bulge bonnet, exactly. But it's a pre-facelift, which means that this, all to do with headlights, this gap here is much shallower than the facelift bonnet. Okay, anyway, so around this side, we've reinstated the structure that supports the door shell itself. So, as I said so many times, if you can get it to fit like a Golf, you're there. So
smooth as anything.
That's it, exactly. But they're very substantial. This particular car is left-hand drive. It's an ex-race car. It's a 2.3 GT, so it's a V6 engine. I think it's had a hard competitive life, but it hasn't been laid in some barn or wet field. So there's very little corrosion. Other than these A-posts, the wings are obviously long since gone through to accidents. It's got the cologne bubble on the back. No sunroof.
No sunroof, which is a good news because you don't have to weld them up.
That's it.
So after looked at all the cars inside and these project cars, we're coming to a different class of car now because this is in a good nick compared to the cars we looked earlier. So what's the story with this one, John?
This was from a deceased estate. It was originally a yellow car, then it was painted red, and subsequently we've returned it back to its original colour. As you can see, characteristic long bonnet, being a facelift, it's got the extra wide bonnet here, and of course these great big rectangular headlights and the indicators hidden down here in the doors. Now, I always harp on about the long bonnet because that's what it's all about. You're trying to emulate a Mark IV Capri, and you make it into front-wheel drive and shorten it and put electric motors in it. It's not the same thing. It's got to have a long bonnet, no matter what. The power bulge, yes, is the icing on the cake, but not many people realise, of course, this characteristic D window, or it depends which side of the car you stood. It could be D or C, depends, but it's nothing special. I mean, the 911 uses it, but it's characteristic. But a lot of people don't realise is it was never designed to be like that. In fact, when it was in the design studios, it was going to have some quarter lights like that. So I don't think this bit of cardboard will emulate what it would look like. Obviously a chrome finisher down there.
So that was the original plan. It's going to shape like that?
That's it. This would have been steel. This would have had a finisher down here, and that would have been the quarter light, because it looked great. But one problem, you sit in the back of the car, it's very claustrophobic. They're not particularly big in the back, but you can get in the back. I mean, if I can tilt this seat forward, you'll see you can easily sit 4 adults in this lovely machine.
Got a really nice interior.
Yes, yeah.
Well,
it's been stood that long in somebody's garage, hasn't hardly been used. So again, let's see if it fits like a Golf. Yeah, there you go.
So this is the first time we actually open up a boot of a Capri.
That's it. Yeah, as you can see, plenty of space. Nice big tank situated in the middle. It's quite a small tank in relation to, I mean, it does over 300 miles on a tank full, and the 3 litre has got a bigger fuel tank because it's obviously going to use a lot more fuel. Facelift, so it's got big backlights, and again, how about that?
John, why you cut off the roof? Seriously, I've never seen one like this. This has been butchered about, isn't it?
I want to discuss how rare this car is. This is one of only three recognised by Ford as a Crayford convertible. Nice number plate. Not a personal number, that's when it was registered. So that'd be a 72. Wasn't very popular because people couldn't afford it. Twice the price of any of the Capris. And as this is a 3 litre one, it would have been quite a lot of money. They did in fact do 37, but the other 34, right, were all 1600s.
So it's only 3 litre.
That's it, yeah.
Altogether,
yeah,
right.
And could it take the stress? Well, perhaps that's why they only built 3. There's a lot of box section underneath the car, which you can't actually see. The roof is quite complicated, but the screen is standard. Again, facelift car, but being a 3 litre, it's got the power bulge bonnet.
Is it originally green?
No, this was actually a white car.
Right.
We just got a panache for green, a bit like a
you like
Gas Monkey Garage.
Yes, yes, you like her green.
That's it. Headlights look rectangular with the indicators to the outside. They're white in this case.
Yes.
Sometimes they're orange, sometimes they're white. But
white, it looks better, I think, with the green, isn't it? It's just more smooth in the front.
But everybody says, oh, it should have quad lights. Don't forget the Capri, because it's so many different models and specifications, you can't really say, oh, it's got to have quad headlights. They had these pretty little rectangular lights with this nice chrome rim. Of course, with the Mark III, they put plastic everywhere. But they went from these little rectangular lights to the much wider lights for the facelift. And then subsequently, if it's a GXL, it went on to quad headlights.
This is an extremely rare car, because I thought, honestly, it's been butchered, and I never actually seen one in the flesh.
That's it. Yeah, you'll notice the wheels at the moment. We're going from chrome wire wheels, because everybody says don't really fancy the chrome wire wheels. Bolt-on chrome wire wheels. So these are just some slave wheels on at the moment. We're going to go to the Ross style wheel, which is a black and silver wheel. But in this case, I've actually found some chrome ones, which blings it up a lot.
Excellent, lovely car. I love the colour.
Yeah, so I'm sorry about the interior, very dusty. The seats are wrong. I've got the right interior to go in it. I just haven't, like so many projects, I get so far and get sidetracked onto the next one. So it will be ready one day to go on display in our museum, along with some other unique cars, because we haven't actually discussed the Mark II or the Mark III, which I thought we could save for another day. But yes,
on that subject, would you guys like to see the Mark II and the Mark III collection? Please drop us a comment, because...
Right, let's move on to fuel injection. So we didn't have to wait until the Mark III arrived before we had fuel injection, because with the RS 2600 left-hand drive, the first Capris to be furnished with a fuel-injected engine. In this case, because it's it's away somewhere. But we have done the engine bay.
Which is done lovely.
Yes. Well, it's done to race quality.
Race quality, left-hand drive.
That's it. Not concourse, just race quality.
Yeah, but you're not gonna race a concourse car, John.
No. So we've got the Cologne arches, front and back, which
I'd
are
like to
always
show to the
fiberglass.
viewers how wide this car is.
Yeah.
Could you kindly just go there just to show to the viewers how
Well,
deep is that wheel arch in there? Because
You
I
can
don't think the picture is actually show you.
You can see, because these aren't the right wheels. These are the standard wheels. So look how much more we've got to find.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So what I like to say to everybody is, don't do the wheels and tyres first, because by the time you've finished it, the tyres will have aged that much. You'll need to replace them anyway. So leave the wheels and tyres till last.
That's
save a lot of money.
worry.
Yeah, save a lot of money. And when he goes into the paint shop, they won't be painting over your wheels and everything.
Big spoiler in the boot.
Well, this is interesting because it's a factory race car. This is all built in. We'll move on to the RS31 in a minute, but this is all built in. And this is actually a Ford spoiler, and this is a soft rubber.
What this is?
That is, yes.
Oh yeah.
Makes that really, really rare.
To be honest with you, I've not seen one.
No.
I don't think you've seen many of these spoilers since you've been doing the Capri Club.
I've got two, because this particular range of cars, we bought 3 RS models altogether. So we had a couple of spoilers, and we had a lot of parts missing, which is why we've only got one engine to go between 3 cars.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So this is just an extremely rare car.
Oh yes,
I gather.
yeah. Like all race cars, they it survived, but only just, because it doesn't take much to write off a car, does it? If it under racing conditions.
No, and years ago, they was the same as like every modern car now. It's just a car. So once it's gone and damaged, people just throw it away.
Yeah.
This car is covered up for a reason. No. This is almost finished now, isn't it, John?
This is almost finished, and it's too expensive to do anything with. This is a museum quality again. I don't think this will do more than 100 miles a year. I keep going on about the lights, so we can eventually get to the quad headlights, right? Which were only fitted to 2 models. That's the GXL and the RS3100.
Which is this one?
This is this one. Again, I think production, I can't get the exact figures. I think it's 253, something like that. They're all in this, I think it's a range of colours. They're all nice and bright. This one is Olympic blue. It's 99.9% finished. The engine's rebuilt. The rocker covers are the right colour. The problem with doing a concourse car is everything has to be right. So, you don't put self-tapping screws in when it should have something else. So everything has to be right, down to the black pop rivets and the right clips, which is why getting past 99.9% up to 100% takes forever to find. That's why all these odd bits and pieces are sort of laid down here. That is, a genuine motorcraft hose,
So, John, how long does it take to do a concourse car like this? Roughly?
Oh, well, it depends how many days of the week you're working on it. But, yeah, I would say about, you've got me there, maybe 1,000 hours.
1,000 hours?
Yeah, it might be 2,000. Who knows? I can't remember. I've never timed it.
You lose count after.
The whole point of it is it's a hobby, and you don't look at. You just want to make the best you can, and get in the vehicle and make. It doesn't have to be that good that it's as new, but as best as you can do it and as you can afford, because we can't always find RS3100s to do, or RS2600s, or Crayfords. Even finding a 3 litre is going to be difficult.
Yeah, because it's just such a rare car nowadays.
So most of the vehicles that will be done in future are going to be 1600 2 litre models.
You mentioned that museum.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, it's taken us 40 years since the club was formed to actually realise a dream and to put all the vehicles in a museum environment. Now, I've got a feeling they're going to be in this state. I'm going to have to change the title to a working museum where things are still undergoing, and we'll just keep doing a bit, because I never seem to concentrate on one car and finish it. I have to have that many. It's a bit like collecting anything. If you collect stamps, you don't collect one, do you?
No. You're going to have a range, and while you're collecting, you're going to find something else you never thought of it.
Yeah.
And you can start collecting another range and another range.
And if you keep goldfish, you don't just have one.
No. And the thing is, I completely understand that, because when you put so much time and effort into a single car, you need some sort of a change, especially when you're stuck for a certain part. You just simply can't think about for months to find a part. As you said, this is like a concourse.
I was going to say it fits like a golf.
It's not, is it?
No, it's a little bit more frettly. Yeah.
This is the 99%, and this part is the 1%.
No, that's a bit. It's got to be right, because it won't get an MOT if the bonnet won't close.
No, that's right.
But the main thing is, it does fit beautiful. Yeah.
I love the color, and these two cars together, the green and the blue, and obviously you got the race car right next to it as well, but the green and the blue, which is almost carried on till modern Ford days, isn't it?
But I've got more exciting Capris to look at, but not today. I've got the 4-wheel drive. How many of those did they build? Who knows?
I've not seen a 4-wheel drive Capri.
No, it's they were only built for one purpose, which was basically road proving and competition as an experiment, because there were no 4-wheel drive cars. Only the Land Rover, that was the only vehicle. The whole market, there was no 4-wheel drives anywhere. Yeah. And why did Ford want a 4-wheel drive? Well, who knows? Well, they wanted it for competition because they were up against the Minis. But there's only a handful of them cars, and I think most of them were destroyed anyway. But we have got one, so maybe I'll show it you next time when we have a look at some Mark IIs and Mark IIIs.
Excellent. I hope the viewers looking forward to see those cars as well, because I've never seen a a 4-wheel drive Capri ever. So that's going to be very interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and enjoyed John's story so far, and we're going to see more content coming up.
Or maybe we could go back to the drawing board. and in a future episode, discuss the electric Capri.
Electric Capri. Guys, what's happening in here?
Oh,
I'm just about to say goodbye, and John come up with some idea.
With the drawing board.
What? So it's going to be an electric car?
Oh, well, there is, yes. Everybody knows about it. Everybody's up in arms about it, because the only thing about it that's Capri is the word Capri. Well, Cherry, I hope to see you again, because I'm certain you'll be excited to see future developments. I'm sorry it's in a bit of a pickle if you looked into the background and all the junk, but we do concentrate on preserving these cars and helping others preserve cars, which means we have to collect spares, which means there's always a turmoil of mess and parcels coming in and going out, and we commission manufacture of all sorts of parts. I mean, you'll never guess where that exhaust system came for Top Gear. So yes, have a look round.
So thank you guys so much for watching, and we see you at the next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
And perhaps I'd just like to confirm I'm not bald.